Hey guys, what's going on? It's time for NXT. That's right, my NXT Unstoppable Takeover Unstoppable, I should say. Review. Overall, pretty good show. Uh, I know a lot of people like NXT. Yours truly. I think NXT is just a great show. It's obviously the best show that WWE has going consistently right now, for a while now. I know Raw last several weeks have been entertaining, but NXT consistently has been good. A lot of interesting things happened tonight. But first off, you had the first match of the night. There was scheduled to be a triple threat match between Finn Balor, Hideo Itami, and Tyler Breeze. Gorgeous. And a triple threat match to determine the number one contender for the NXT Championship. Due to Hideo Itami having an injury, being out for 6 to 8 months, I believe, or yeah, 6 to 8 months, I believe. Tommy obviously could not compete in this match, so it was just a one-on-one contest between Breeze and Balor. As you can probably guess, pretty entertaining, fun match. So a great way to start the night off. Balor wins after hitting the coup de grace. Top rope finisher, entertaining match, pretty good. All right, so we move on. Finn Balor's the new. By the way, I also like Tyler Breeze's entrances. They kind of made it seem like a WrestleMania. It kind of wasn't just the, hey guys, it's Tyler. Yeah, it's Tyler. He had the selfie stick. No, he had like a couple models come up, dress up like him, like in his jacket, his furry jacket, and everything. It was kind of funny. Yeah, so I'm a fan of Tyler Breeze. No homo. The character is Tyler Breeze to me is funny. It's comical. I always say to myself, if Dolph Ziggler and and Dashing Cody Rhodes ever had a love child, a la Tyler Breeze, you know what I mean? But anywho, so next you had, what match was it? Oh, it was the NXT Divas tag team match between. By the way, WWE must have a boner for freaking Divas tag team matches, whether it's like on the developmental roster as NXT or the main roster. It's like, seriously. Did God and Triple H, God himself, and Vince have a conversation going, hey Vince, what about a Divas tag team match? You like that? Oh, I love it. Damn it. Like, seriously. Anyways, you had Charlotte and Bayley versus almost said Becky Lynch, Dana Brooke and Emma. Okay, Divas tag team match. Not the best women's match of the night. We'll get to that a little later. But it was alright. Tag team, women's matchup. What was it? Charlotte hit the figure eight, she calls it. Obviously, her own version of her own father's legendary figure four leg lock finishing submission maneuver on Emma. Emma taps out. The faces go over cleanly. Makes sense. I mean, you want to build up clearly. Triple H and NXT and the rest of the people in NXT are building up Dana Brooke to be like, the next big thing. She's still green as grass, but she seems like she has a personality. Gee, I wonder why. Dolph Ziggler. Anyways, so moving on, in case you even know they're dating in real life. But anywho, what else do we have? Oh my god, this matchup. Fuck me. By far the worst matchup of the night, and you could probably guess it from a mile away. The legendary ECW great Rhino versus Baron Corbin. Oh my god. I rarely ever defend Roman Reigns. But one thing Roman Reigns has over Baron Corbin, and I can understand the comparison between Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin. But one thing Roman Reigns has at least 3 more moves in his moveset compared to Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin knows one move. End of days. That's it. I swear to you, this guy does nothing else other than no-sell everything. It's like, oh my god, like, he's just so duh. And the thing is, out of all the guys that NXT currently has, Vince is probably going to look at Baron Corbin and go, my god, we gotta put him in a tag team with Roman Reigns. Oh my god, they could be a tag team champion for like 6 months, damn it. Like, it's just going to be like torture. I mean, I'll give Baron Corbin this. He does have a kick-ass theme, but then again, his theme kind of reminds me of Dean Ambrose. It's like when you try to start a car. Why isn't my damn car starting? You know what I mean? Anyways, you can probably guess Corbin goes over with the only move Baron Corbin knows how to do, the man of days. On Rhino. Rhino tried his damnedest to make this match good, and you could tell, but it's Baron Corbin, man. Good luck. Anywho, next we had, what was the next match? Oh, crap. This is what happens when I don't have like the thing right in front of my face, because I'm so used to having like the monitor, but I'm just too lazy to get it. You had the god damn. What was the next match? Was it the women's match? I think it was. You had the women. Yeah, you had the women's NXT Women's Championship match between was it Sasha Banks, of course, the NXT Women's Champion, Sasha Banks, versus Becky Lynch, and it's just me. Becky Lynch tonight looked like the combination as if like the Brave girl from Brave, if you guys ever seen that movie, and Cheetos just got together and they went to Wendy's. Because her hair was so freaking orange. Holy shit, I don't know what the hell she was doing with her hair. Anywho, she was taking on the boss herself, Sasha Banks, in a very good, entertaining women's matchup, and they got like at least twice as much as the women on on a pay-per-view match. These women got like what 16 to 20 minutes. They got a lot of time. Now, granted, it was only like a 5-match card for 2 hours, but they got a hell of a lot of time. They did very good out there. It was a physical matchup. These girls took a great story, and there was also a build-up for it. Yes, guys, remember when Divas matches had build-up? Wow, those were the days. But, this did have build-up to it, obviously, but Sasha saw Becky as like her minion type of deal, and Becky finally got sick and tired of it. She wanted to go her own route. She wanted to become women's champion. She almost became women's champion, but Sasha got the better of her with her own submission maneuver of the her own own version of the Crippler's Crossface, basically. And it was a very good, entertaining matchup, so pretty good. And last but not least, you had the main event. And the only problem I had with the main event... Oh, by the way, I almost forgot one match. I knew I almost forgot one match. I almost forgot the tag team match. Tag team championship match between Blake and Murphy versus Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy. I'm a huge fan of Cassidy and Amore. I think they're a great tag team. They kind of remind me a little bit of the New Age Outlaws with the whole, tag team champions of the world, SAW Soul. They got that charisma going for them, and, they're going to be great whenever they get called up, hopefully, But, and, Carmella's a former New England Patriot, cheerleader. Thank you. Anywho, moving on. The match itself was pretty good. Entertaining tag team matchup. They got a good amount of time. Here's the problem I have with the match. The ending. Now, I may be nitpicky, but tell me how this makes sense. Alexa Bliss, Miss freaking Kelly 2.0, at least facial-wise, she kind of looks like her. Freaking Tinkerbell herself turns heel. She freaking knocks Enzo Amore off the ring rope, and then Colin Cassidy the same thing. And she leaves with Blake and Murphy after they retain the championship. So I'm like, okay, I get it, you need another female in there, but to me, it would have made a lot more sense if you had, believe it or not, Carmella turn on Amore and Cassidy, and then maybe bring Alexa Bliss, who, clearly seems like she's just more of a face, because to me, this is like if you ever turn Kelly heel, like, it's not believable. With Carmella, she kind of has that heel vibe to her, and they were kind of teasing her turning heel because, Blake and Murphy were trying to, like, flirt with her for several weeks, to say the least, for about a few months, actually. And, here, it's just like, this just felt so random. Like, why Alexa Bliss? To me, it made more sense you get Dana Brooke out there, you know what I mean? But, to me, there were just better options you could have had than Alexa Bliss. I mean, this is almost as bad as if you turned Bayley heel. Like, how realistic is that? I mean, I know they're making, or they already had made Emma heel, and to me, that's kind of, but still, like, is Bling Bling being friggin' heel? Anyways, we go to the main event. You had Kevin Owens. You had Battle of Canadians. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, round 2. Part 2 of the matchup. Obviously, physical matchup. Owens looking strong. Of course, Sami Zayn still an injury they suffered against a few weeks ago on Monday Night Raw. It was a battle. It was a war. These two battled it out. Owens mostly got the better of him. And the match pretty much ended in a no contest. For the NXT Championship, and this spot, of course, that everyone's been talking about. Owens gets the steel chair. He comes into the ring. He's about to smash Zayn with it, and out comes the debuting Samoa Joe. No, they didn't change his name. Samoa Joe. They actually kept his name. Thank God. Thank you. I'm thanking you, Triple H. Thank you. Like, I'm actually thanking God, Triple H himself, for keeping Samoa Joe's name. You didn't give him Joey Samoa or Joe So or So Joe or some stupid ass name that you gave him the name Samoa Joe, and the crowd went crazy, immediately. Joe's gonna kill you. Joe's gonna. And I was like, oh my god. And Joe looks like he's in great shape. I mean, I know last time I saw him in TNA, which, by the way, got canceled by Destination America. How ironic. When Samoa Joe makes a WWE debut, Destination America cancels TNA. Anywho, back to this. Pretty cool debut for Joe. He comes out there. Him and Owens have a stare down, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, this is like Ring of Honor 2005." And to me, I just think it's crazy how, and they're making jokes. Oh, CM Punk left at the wrong time, but I just think it's crazy how we have Samoa Joe and Kevin Steen. Samoa Joe, Kevin Steen. It's just Kevin Owens, El Generico. Sami Zayn in the same ring in a WWE owned ring. When did you ever think this is like fantasy booking? Like, this is something out of like a dream. This is like from an internet, internet fans, dream. This is crazy. You got these great, Joe looks like he's in great shape. He looks better. He doesn't look like he's just, letting himself go. He does look kind of big, but he looks smaller. He looks like he's lost weight, but he's still kind of, big muscular. So, cool to see Samoa Joe back, on TV and making his NXT debut. The one thing was kind of weird though was Joe saying, "I've been watching you," and I was thinking, what are you, freaking Sting from freaking the Police? I've been watching you. Like, that just sounds so weird. I'm watching you. Like, freaking. But anywho, I'm not gonna nitpick on that. It was just a cool debut and it makes sense, because Zayn's obviously out with his injury. Tommy's out now. Owens can feud with Balor, and of course now with Samoa Joe and Steen. And why am I saying Steen? Freaking Owens is still feuding with. So Owens is getting one hell of a push. He's facing Joe, a big, no name in the wrestling business, and of course, technically the number one guy in the company, and he's still down in NXT being the world champion. So, crazy night for NXT. Good show overall. Again, there were a couple of things I didn't like. I knew the Rhino and Gary Corbin match was going to be Alexa Bliss turning heel made zero sense to me. But the rest of the stuff on tonight was just good. And it was kind of unpredictable too, because even though there was rumors of Joe returning tonight, but one thing I like about WWE compared to TNA or any other wrestling industry, usually when people make their returns or they make their debuts, you hear about on the dirt sheets, NoDQ.com, Lords of Pain, all these other dirt sheet sites. WWE usually does a pretty good job of, holding, giving these surprises. And, they do a pretty good job. So, credit to WWE. And just, again, a good overall show by NXT. There's a reason why I love watching NXT. And, usually I know I'm usually working, I've been busy, but, Wednesdays are usually the night, ironically enough, that I usually have my days off. I usually have, Wednesday and Friday off. But Wednesdays, ironically, I have day off, so there's a good chance I could be reviewing more NXT stuff, whether it's just a special or just a casual show. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy this video. What you guys think of NXT Takeover Unstoppable? Subscribe if you have not. Follow me on Twitter. Link down in the description box as usual. That's it for me. Hope you guys have a good night, good day. Catch y'all later. Peace.